If you've been going to the gym for a while now, chances are something's happened that's turned you redder than a baboon's ass on a hot summer day. One of those moments so embarrassing, you genuinely consider cancelling your membership, just like my dad cancelled his role in my childhood. It might have even scarred you for life, like that 70-year-old bloke in the squat rack who's still fighting World War II every leg day. But don't worry, my little gym goblins, I've got good news. Embarrassing moments have happened to everyone in the gym, whether you're a professional bodybuilder or just some skinny white bloke making YouTube videos from his bedroom. The bad news? Your next aura loss is probably only one gym session away. So today, we're going through the biggest gym aura loss moments we've all experienced. And trust me, by the end of the video, you'll either be laughing or reliving memories you spent years trying to suppress. Now, before we get into the truly traumatic ones, let's start with one that every single guy pretends he doesn't do. So, you've just finished an absolutely filthy superset of tricep pushdowns and cable curls, and for the first time in your life, you actually took both of them to failure. The pump is absolutely disgusting. For the first time ever, you don't look like a malnourished Victorian child. So, naturally, you strut over to the changing rooms, walk past the 80-year-old guy who's somehow completely naked for the third time this week, and head straight for the mirror. You hit a front double bicep, side chest, most muscular. You're thinking, yeah, she definitely regrets blocking me now. And then someone walks in. Instantly, your soul leaves your body. Your phone nearly flies across the room. You let out a quiet but very audible "ah!" Now you've got to pretend you weren't just thirsting over your own reflection, so you awkwardly start washing your hands, even though you literally only came in here to stare at yourself. In your head, it's over. The bloke's already in the group chat. Oi lads, you'll never guess who I just caught making love to himself in the mirror. But here's the thing, in about 20 minutes, that exact same guy is going to finish his last set, walk into the changing rooms, and start hitting the exact same poses. Because we're gym rats. Every single one of us has convinced ourselves we're about 3 weeks away from looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, speaking of awkward social interactions, nothing screams aura loss quite like having absolutely zero social skills. It doesn't matter whether you're a beginner or you've been lifting since dinosaurs were doing lateral raises, eventually you'll have to ask the age-old question. How many sets do you got left? You're eyeing up the machine from across the gym, patiently waiting for your moment, running the sentence through your head over and over again like you're about to give a TED talk. He finally racks the weight and takes a breather. This is it, your chance to secure the bench. You walk over, open your mouth, and suddenly you sound like a foreign maths lecturer who's been handed an English script 5 minutes before class. Your stutter's worse than you were 13 trying to explain to your mum why hot Latinas somehow ended up in your search history. He just looks at you. What, mate? Your stomach drops. You can actually feel your aura leaving your body. You mutter, nothing. Sorry, mate. Then you do the walk of shame back across the gym, pretending you never wanted the machine in the first place, before spending the next 15 minutes watching him from the other side of the gym like you're conducting a surveillance operation. And if that wasn't embarrassing enough, nothing humbles you quicker than convincing yourself you're finally ready to move up in weight. Last session, you finally hit the top of your rep range, and probably earned yourself a good boy sticker from your mum to put on the fridge. So naturally, this session it's time to move up. You march over to the dumbbell rack, grab the next pair up, and because you're feeling extra confident today, you decide to do curls right in front of the mirror. Yeah, you're a big boy now. First rep goes up, second rep, that dumbbell isn't moving. Not unlike a certain other thing when you actually need it to. Now you're just standing there holding 2 dumbbells that are clearly too heavy for you, while everyone around you has just watched you announce to the world, "Watch this." So, you do the only thing you can. The slow, defeated waddle back to the rack, put the heavy dumbbells down, pick up old reliable. And just to avoid making eye contact with your own failure, you do the rest of the set on the opposite side of the gym, pretending the mirror was occupied anyway. There goes that good boy sticker on the fridge. But maybe the reason the weight isn't going up is because your form is absolutely tragic. So, you've been doing an exercise for months now, and you still can't feel that target muscle. At least you now know how your girlfriend feels. Figure out what you're doing wrong, you decide to record your set. You watch it back, and your single arm tricep extensions look like you're giving an invisible guy the time of his life. Your ab crunches look like you're trying to become far too familiar with your own nether region, and your machine lateral raises, mate, you look like a chicken that's just found out it can't fly. Then it hits you. For the last 6 months you've been walking around thinking you're training like Chris Bumstead, when in reality, you've been looking like you've only just unlocked the controls to your own body. Suddenly, it all makes sense. The lack of gains, the weird looks, the bloke who keeps trying not to laugh every time you train shoulders. You don't even want to watch the rest of the video because you're terrified of what your squats probably look like. And while we're on the subject of exercises, I want to explain why every cable machine has beef with humanity. The cable stack, the greatest invention ever created. You can train your chest, back, shoulders, arms, abs, probably your tax returns if you attach the right handle. But adjusting the bloody thing requires the strength of a forklift. You go to move the pulley up one notch, and suddenly you're in a final boss fight. You have no problem curling or rowing the actual weight, but moving that little pin 6 inches higher? Absolutely impossible. You're there with every vein in your forehead popping out, one foot against the machine, looking like you're trying to pull Excalibur from the stone, while everyone else wonders why you're giving yourself a hernia just to move a pulley. Somehow, the same logic applies to adjustable benches. You just wanted to move it from incline to flat. Instead, you're fighting a lever that's apparently welded shut, looking like you need a PhD in gym equipment just to start your workout. But none, and I mean none, compared to the final boss of gym Orolos's, leg day. The leg press is actually free for once, so you jump on it before anyone else steals it. 1 rep, 2 reps, 3rd rep. You're really grinding it out, and something else gets pushed out as well. You let out the loudest, most diabolical fart known to mankind. The kind that echoes around the gym like the bloody THX intro. Time just stops. Nobody says anything, but everybody heard it. And now every single time you use a leg press, you remember that someone, somewhere, has almost certainly shat themselves on it before. At least this only happens once, because after that traumatic experience, every single leg day starts with a tactical trip to the toilet. You're sat there for 45 minutes trying to squeeze every last molecule out of your body. Who cares if your legs have gone numb before you started training? At least you're not using the leg press as a surround sound speaker system. So there you have it, the biggest gym Orelos moments we've all had to suffer through. If you made it through that list without physically cringing at least once, congratulations, you're either lying or you've been going to the gym for about 6 minutes. We've all embarrassed ourselves. We've all ego lifted. We've all spoken absolute gibberish trying to ask for a machine. We've all looked at ourselves in the mirror for just a little bit too long. And if you've never nearly farted on the leg press, I'm calling complete bullshit. The good news is, every single one of those moments disappears the second someone else does something even more embarrassing. That's basically the circle of life in a commercial gym. So if I missed one of your biggest aura loss moments, let me know in the comments, because I guarantee there's one that's somehow even worse than these. And if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got to stare at myself in the changing room mirror for 20 minutes.